we're going to be talking about failing. And so what do I mean by failing? We're not going to be talking about failing modes of equipment and Famicas and all that sort of stuff. We're going to be talking about what happens when we fail as an individual. And we might go into a little bit about how that affects the team and all those sorts of things, but we'll see how the conversation goes. And we'll be doing that today at Mount Kira Archery Range, which is one of the nicest archery ranges that I've ever seen. Having said that, I've only been to 3, and not all archery ranges have the luxury of being located halfway up a mountain. So anyway, we'll have some fun and go from there. So you'll see here that I've got 2 3s, a 4, a 6, and what we've got an 8. And 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a 9. Right, so first shot off cold. You could say, did I do too well? Not at all. But with practice we'll get better. Okay, so we'll take these out. Take these out and we'll go again. Now, could we say that that was a failure? I'd say no, because I'd say it's warming up, it's practicing, it's getting used to things. Okay, we'll have another go and see how it turns out. Okay, this will be end number 2, so one would think that I'm going to get better. So that was a little bit better. The environment was pretty windy, but we can't blame the environment because I chose to operate in that environment. So let's see what we've got. We've got a 3, 9, 5 and a 6, and 2 6s. Check that out. Now, could we say, is that a bit better? Yeah, look, we've got some improvement. We've only got 1 in the black, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the blue, and we've got 1 that's in the yellow. Okay, so we're getting better. Now on the third end I should say, on the third end, I should be getting all those in the red, because the others are in the blue. So I should have only 1 in the blue, 4 in the red, and 1 in the yellow. If I've been practicing, and we can only improve, that's what we should expect, right? Let's see how we go. Okay, we're at the third end, so third attempt at doing something. Before it wasn't so good at the first go. The second end was better. The third end, what did we say? We said they should mostly be in the red because we're only improving, right? And every time we do something, we want to improve. Need to improve this pole. Okay, so what have we got? We have one that doesn't even count. We've got, that's a 4, that's a 6, another 6. We've got a 9 and a 10. So we did improve. Oh, I did improve. I improved, but I didn't achieve what I wanted to. Maybe on average, if we average the scores, it probably works out to be something similar, because we've got one that doesn't count here. But am I getting better? Needs more practice. That's what I think. Okay, let's take these out. Okay, so the fourth end, I was talking quietly before because we had a fellow archer here who was sighting in his bow. I wanted to give him some silence to concentrate, but he's backed up now, so we can talk a little bit louder. So we'll put these in my little holder made of plastic pipe. There we go. So the fourth end, after 3 attempts, the fourth end, we should say, is going to be spot on, because I got more in the yellow, but I did have that one outlier, but this should be really good. All the yellows, I reckon. Maybe one red. If it's one red, that's okay. Okay, so we're going for all yellows, but if we get a red, we'll accept that. That's fine. Nothing else is acceptable on this end. Let's do our best. Right, off to a good start. Alrighty, fourth end, let's go check it out. So I'm shooting from 20 meters today, so I've got to put my qualifying in for 30. And what have we got here? Holy moly! So look at that, I thought I got a red. They're all yellows. I got 2 10s and 4 9s, and I got this awesome group there. Wow. Fantastic. So the theory was right. After 3 attempts at practicing, came out on top. So let's see if we can maintain that. I reckon the next time I come around, I'm going to get them all in the 10s. So we'll see how we go. Let's pull these out. All right. This time, end number 5 is going to be all yellows. No, sorry, all 10s. Going to get them all in 10. Okay, and because, you know, when we're doing things, we only want to improve, and practice is the way to do that. So let's see how we go. All right. And number 5, all 10s. That's what it's going to be. Let's check out those awesome groups of 10. Okay, end number 5. We planned for all 10s. We did our practice. We started off slow, and let's see the result. Holy moly! Look at that. Awesome. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and see this one? Right smack bang in the middle, all 10s. Exactly what we wanted. So this is going really well. This is performance. This here, you can't get better than that. That's like you know, I'd win a competition if that was my result. So we'll pull all these out, and so now that we're continually improving, practicing, improving, testing the logic is sound, that every time I do something I get better at it. So end number 6. Now, end number 6. it's going to be all half dozen arrows in the bullseye 10 mark. So the small 10, not the big 10, the small 10. They're going to be all in there. Alright, end number 6. All 10s right in the middle. Okay. And we'll get it because it matches the trend that I've set. So it's got to happen, right? So I can just, yep, there we go, 10. Yeah, pretty good. Get another 10. Yep. Not even really, I could even not look. And I'll just get 10s. Why even pay attention? Because muscle memory. I know where to shoot, I know how to draw, I know where to hold things. Yep. They're all going in. They're all going in the 10s. That is exactly that I said. Exactly how I want. Yep. Because I've been putting in the practice. That's just how it works. Right, so let's go check that out. Alrighty, end number 6. Going to be all 10s in the middle. Let's see how we go. Okay. Oh, alright. It's you might not want to look at this. I've got one in the carpet. I've got one stuck in the wood. I've got a 6. And I did get a 10. That was the first one. That was the first one I got. Oh, it's kind of too far away from that line to be a 1. And this one got wedged in here as well. So, fail. That's a failure. Didn't do too well at that. I was going so well, and cactus. So why'd that happen? Could be a number of things. A little cocky. Started to not pay attention. Saw the first one and thought, yep, this will keep going. I know what I'm doing. I'm good. I am the best. And it didn't turn out. Can I undo this? I can't. You can't undo where an arrow lies. And there's evidence. There's a hole or broken timber. You know? So what do we do when we fail? So have I failed in engineering? Yep. Made some spectacular failures when I was younger. Now, let's think about some not ground rules, but concepts or ideas of what to do if you fail. So one thing you can do is acknowledge the failure. Yeah, acknowledgement of the failure is the first step for yourself, to be honest with yourself, but also it's other people will see that. The people around you will see that, and they'll see that you've acknowledged the mistake that you've made, even if you had a really good streak beforehand. You might have tried something different, you might have tried something new, the wind might have come up, or you just didn't pay attention. Everyone makes mistakes. I don't know anyone who hasn't made mistakes, and I know people who I've learnt from who have made mistakes many years after I've met them. And I've learned from their mistakes, not only by what they did and learned what not to repeat, but learned how to handle that, how to deal with making that mistake.
and you know, by being honest with myself when I've made a mistake, it allows me to do a couple of things. It allows me to move forward and see about fixing the mistake. If I'm not honest with myself, I'll try and convince myself that it wasn't me, or it was something else's fault that caused that problem. And people who are you know, looking will see what you're doing, and will they continue to have confidence in what you're doing if you're attempting to hide or not take ownership of a mistake. And the other thing is that every mistake that I've made, I've had the opportunity to make good. And I don't mean to make good because I'm all upset and I have to make it right because I always get things right and all that sort of thing. It's not about that. It's about just fixing the problem so that I and everyone else can move on with achieving the objectives that we have to achieve. There's a particular example of a mistake that I made where let's go for a walk. Actually, there's a particular example of a mistake that I made where I'd measured something on site, and my measurements are always pretty darn good. I've got a story about a fence paling and a couple of gearboxes which I can tell you, but you know, I can rely on my measurements. I can have confidence in the measurements that I make because of the rigor that I put into making them. Now, for all the things that I checked in this one example, what happened is that there was an element of this particular machine which I couldn't access, and also there had been change that hadn't been recorded on this machine. So change management is a really important thing. Modifications, recording those modifications. If you don't record modifications, then you're setting someone else up to fail. And that someone else could be yourself in the future. Anyway, needless to say, there were some modifications that hadn't been recorded. And those modifications I couldn't see, the drawings hadn't been updated, and I had some steel castings. I mean, each one weighed a few ton. Some steel castings about so big, 4 of them, and they're all machined the wrong size. They're all machined too small. There's grooves in these castings. Now, they had to go in. They were a just-in-time manufacture, so we had them made in a foundry, and we had to get them on site to put in the next day. The crews put them in the next day. They had all the instructions, everything laid out, dimensionally correct, all perfect. And then I got a message from site, and I was only about 10 minutes from site in the office. It said that these things didn't fit. So straight away, jump in the ute, go to site, have a look, and then find out why they didn't fit. But instead of worrying about my problem first, there was another problem that had to come first. It was the problem that the guys had on site. You know, the fitters and boilermakers installing these things. They had a problem of what are they going to do? I can't just go back to the office and worry about what I've got to do because I've got to solve my problem because I'm feeling upset. So I gave them some advice on where things had gone wrong, and I asked them if they could take these things down straight away because they're not going to fit, they're not going to work. Well, they fit, but these other parts that had to link weren't going to fit. So straight away take them out. Let construction managers know, let operations know, because the machine had to turn back on in I think it was in about 48 hours. And then the first thing I did was ask for support. I went to my senior and said, I've made a mistake. This is the nature of the mistake, but nonetheless, I've made a mistake. I've found out why they're wrong. I now know the size. I've confirmed it. What can we do? And then I got support because I'd asked for support and owned the mistake. Who cares where it came from? There's something that I'd missed. I got then support from the engineering manager and the commercial manager, and we had one of each of these 4 components sent out to a machine shop, each different machine shop. They were machined overnight and put back in the next day, and everything was able to be maintained with the program. The shutdown stayed on time and all that sort of stuff. People had to put in more work. You know, I was on site while they reinstalled these things, because, you know, guys who are fixing a mistake that, you know, that you made, like to see you there in case anything else goes wrong. So, you know, it's about working together. Now, was that an expensive exercise? Absolutely. That machining would not have been cheap, because people would have had to been paid their overtime rates. They wouldn't have been able to come to the work the next day, so they would have been having to be paid for that. And then the crews for the next day in the machine shops would have been short, because we took those people up overnight. But the main thing is that even though that mistake happened, I owned it. I gave people support on how to handle my mistake. I resolved the mistake. I let people know that there is a mistake straight away, and we all worked through it. Without the support of my senior engineer, the engineering manager, the commercial manager, and the operations guys and the construction managers, that problem didn't even exist. It was like it never happened, in the way that the outcome didn't change. We got that thing in, and all the work got done, and everything was on time. Now, we can't forget that the mistake did happen. However, how we handle it is the important part, and how we handle it in a way of how we perform and how we behave really makes the difference. So now that that's said, let's go back. End number 7, all 10s. We're going to get it. Red, not so bad. Don't rush. Pay attention to what you're doing. Don't get distracted. Set yourself up so you're comfortable. Breathe. Watch your form. Hopefully mine's okay. There we go. Everyone's going to have their limitations. So if I took this bow back to 30 meters, it'd probably take me about 4 ends to get used to it, to calibrate myself. If I go back to 40 meters, different again. If I go back to 50 meters, we're getting to the sort of like the weaker end of this bow. It's not going to be able to shoot straight that much, and I'm going to have to start arching, or whatever you want to call that term. Archery, make an arch. You know what I mean? Alright, so you can see that go. I was too busy talking and I wasn't concentrating. Wasn't focused, so now I'll shush. Much better, red. See, even the slightest distraction. Now, let me ask you, is multitasking a real thing? I reckon multitasking doesn't exist. Alright, now I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to turn this camera so you can't see me cheat, because I did cheat in the last one. Let's get you this thing. No cheating. see, what have I got here? Okay, that's the one where I wasn't concentrating and I was waffling, blah 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 blah. First shot, second shot, third shot, fourth shot, fifth shot, all good ones. This one, yeah. So the main thing here that we're talking about is don't worry about failing if you're putting the effort in and doing your best. If you've set yourself up as best you can to succeed, you're practiced, you have some confidence, you're not overstretching your abilities, and you're seeking guidance and support when you need it, then hopefully things should be okay, even if someone does make a mistake, because we all learn. We're continually learning. Now, what I'm certainly not saying is it's okay to make mistakes and make that your standard. Certainly not. But the message here is everyone fails. At some point in time, everyone makes a mistake. Everyone has to own it, and if you know, the first step to making things difficult is not owning a mistake. That said, I reckon I'm going to get all 10s. So end number 8, all 10s. Let's go.